Hi, I'm Richard Friedman, and welcome to my video cartoon for June 26th, 2025. Here we have White House Press Secretary Karoline Leavitt here and this is her post, and watching that post here, responding to it, is the Supreme Leader of Iran, the Ayatollah Khomeini. Okay, and he's pointing to, we'll get to that. Before we get to the cartoon itself, I want to read to you the introduction. So this is the foundation of the cartoon, and here is Karoline Leavitt, and we'll get to that. Okay, the introduction. Iran's Supreme Leader, Ayatollah Ali Khomeini, responding, here he is, responding to Press Secretary Karoline Leavitt, responding to White House Press Secretary Karoline Leavitt, social media post. There it is, social media post. Okay, given after President Donald Trump declared the U.S. had completely, quote, obliterated Iran's nuclear ambitions, an early intelligence assessment leaked to media on Tuesday suggested that the strikes only set Iran's enrichment program back by a few months, but did not destroy its core components. So what the intelligence report basically said was that they smashed in the entrances to these facilities, all smashed in and things like that, but they had doubts that it was a very low-level assessment. They came out straight forward and said it's a low-level assessment, low-level reliability, let's put it that way, to make it perfectly clear that that it's possible that a lot of the uranium that had already been enriched by the facility was taken out. And it's also a possibility that the machinery and the centrifuges and stuff like that are used to enrich the uranium may still be repairable, or some of them may be intact. So this was they came out with it very clear, because nobody's been in there since the attack. Nobody had, no physical eyeballs have seen it. So they're saying, based upon images and with satellites, whatever they have available to them, some people I think it was the Defense Department said that it's a low level, the intelligence area of the Defense Department, because Pete Hegseth said that he's going to do investigation as to who leaked it. So it had to be within somewhere in the Defense Department, their investigative group of people came out with this. And again, they kind of dampened, in a way. President Trump felt very threatened by this remark, this report that they acknowledged was low level. So President Trump, basically in his assessment, he gave a very high level of a statement that it was obliterated, and no trace of that there will be no Iranian nuclear program, to the extent that President Trump said that he don't care about making a deal with Iran no more, because he already knows that it's already gone. It's a done deal. It's all under the bridge, under the thing. He said it's like you see on top, but below the surface. President Trump said it's still firing, all fires. It's going like hell. I don't want to go there, but I'm going to say, but I ain't going to go there. But it's like a bunch of fires below, and that below the surface, and they're burning every minute more. They're burning those centrifuges and things that are used to enrich the uranium. You see, so he's very emphatic about that, and felt very, very upset that they would. This information was classified. You see, it was classified, and then it was leaked out. You see that this report was made. Low-level report. Again, I emphasize. Okay, so that's the foundation of this cartoon. Given after President Trump declared the U.S. had completely obliterated Iran's nuclear ambitions. You see, they also said there's a possibility that there were some trucks out there that they saw a day before the bombing of this main place there, this facility, and Fortu or Forto, whatever you want to, whatever it was. I don't want to. That's not important. But the important matter is that they saw trucks out there, and they thought maybe perhaps that Iran was taking out some of the uranium that had already been enriched and putting it somewhere else. You see, and that was what they were basically implying that there was a possibility that could have happened, as well as the mechanisms, the machinery, the centrifuges that enriched the uranium may not have been damaged to the full extent that President Trump had said it was. Okay, so that, and it was a low level assessment that they made. Okay, and so it was classified and it leaked out. Now the thing about it was that I'm just injecting this myself. Now let's just say there was some sort of a crazy report that this enriched uranium was sent over to Madagascar, and it's in Madagascar right now. Some Madagascar people don't want a part of this. I know that. I've read up on that, but I don't want to dwell on that. Madagascar does not want any part of this situation, and they're not pro-Iranian. But let's just say that it was sent to Madagascar. And a crazy idea that Madagascar would accept enriched uranium, and Iran would do that. But let's just say that something like that was leaked out. That no one said, that's crazy stuff. That would never have been classified. If somebody would have wrote that never would have been classified. So what's the point in classifying something that is only low level, and it doesn't amount to anything? So why would you classify that? That's my question. Why classify that? And it's just saying that's possibility. They're not saying it's emphatic. It's not saying it's just saying a low level. So it could be another low level thing. Oh, they're over there in Madagascar, and Madagascar. We don't need no classified. We don't need to classify that. That's nonsense. So that's my point here, really. Okay, so anyway, they classified it, and why would that have to be classified if it's just a low-level opinion? Given that President Trump declared the U.S. had completely obliterated Iran's nuclear ambitions, an early intelligence assessment leaked to media on Tuesday suggested that the strikes only set Iran's enrichment program back by a few months, but did not destroy its core components. Given President Trump has said he doesn't think an Iran nuclear deal is needed after facilities blown to Kingdom Come. He said Kingdom Come, So the thing is that the Iran, I'm saying in this cartoon, basically, the leader of Iran, Supreme Leader Khomeini, is probably rejoiced if it's a possibility that these stuff can be repaired, and and President Trump isn't interested in any nuclear deal anymore. So he's out in clear water. He's sailing in clear water now. And so that's all I'm saying here, basically, is that he could be feeling that way because President Trump has said, hey, I don't care about no nuclear deal with Iran. They're gone. They got nothing. They got fireworks. What do they got? They got a bunch of firecrackers over there. Maybe a few cherry bombs. But what do they got? Nothing. So I don't need a deal. I don't care about a deal. I don't care about a deal. That's what President Trump said. So I heard him say it. So I didn't get that from nobody. I got that from President Trump. Given Trump has said, okay, and reportedly, the Pentagon, now that's another foundation here, and reportedly, the Pentagon has launched a criminal investigation into the leak that damage to Iran's nuclear facilities from U.S. airstrikes didn't significantly set back Tehran's nuclear program. So they're launching a criminal investigation here. A criminal investigation. That means people could go to jail. It's criminal for releasing this kind of information, I mean, that sounds, a little bit like the way Tehran would operate, I'm just injecting that. It's my opinion. Okay? So that's again a foundation for this cartoon. Okay? Okay? So and it's possible that the Supreme Leader could be rejoiced, again, as I said, that and want the United States to believe that everything was really blown to kingdom calm. Okay? Set back around to the given, and the Iran foreign minister, here's Iran foreign minister, spokesman Ismail Magahi, I know I'm getting that right, but I did the best I could. Ismail Barahi said, our nuclear installments have been badly damaged. That's for sure. That was the Iranian spokesman for the foreign ministry who said that, and he came out with it, and he hasn't been in there either. He hasn't gone down. You can be sure that Ismail Magahi has not gone down there to see what went on there either. so he's just coming out with that statement. President Trump nor Magahi has been underneath the rubble to see what was going on. So there you have it, folks. And here comes the cartoon. All right, here is our Karoline Leavitt, press secretary, and she's titled "Fake News: CNN Strikes Again." Because fake news because CNN picked this up. So here it goes, and this is what she said here. Okay, this alleged assessment is flat out wrong, and was classified as quote top secret, but was still leaked to CNN by an anonymous low-level loser in the intelligence community. Okay, it was classified as top secret. Was still leaked to CNN by an anonymous low-level loser in the intelligence community. I heard that loser word somewhere before. It rings a bell. Okay. The leaking of this alleged assessment is a clear attempt to demean President Trump and discredit the brave fighter pilots who conducted a perfectly executed mission to obliterate Iran's nuclear program. So this is nothing against the fighters. They did a spectacular military operation. Like Pete Hegseth did say it right in that respect, that if we saw it and step by step, we'd be amazed and we'd be dumbfounded. I'm sure of that, because to coordinate all those other planes and the Tomahawk missiles and everything that had to, and the refueling and everything that had to go on in synchrony. It's just to synchronize that operation. It's a monumental accomplishment for our military. And it does show the world that we have the capability of doing things we need to do. That's one thing. On the other hand, going around like this, I ain't going to go there. That's for you to decide. All right. So here goes, back to Karoline Kennedy now. Leaking of this alleged assessment I said that everyone knows what happens. Now, this is Karoline Kennedy for her last paragraph on this here. There she is. Zoom in on her. There she is. Okay. The last paragraph. Everyone knows what happens when you drop 14 30,000-pound bombs perfectly on their targets. Total obliteration. Total obliteration. Okay? And that was done at 3:52 p.m., June 24th, 2025. Now here's the Ayatollah Khomeini, and he's watching this thing here. We'll put it in perspective here, and he's watching and he's responding to this social post. Okay, by Karoline Leavitt, press secretary, and he's responding, and he's saying, "I will convey to Trump that if he writes an executive order deporting all the leakers, I will build a Tehran prison for them, just like his Guantanamo Bay here." So he's going to build for President Trump. If President Trump wants to write an executive order that says, well, these people are no longer citizens of the United States because they committed treason, and then someone else said that, but I don't want to dwell on that this was treasonous. Somebody else said that. I don't want to go there either, because I'm focusing on here. The action is here on Karoline Leavitt, and the reaction to the supreme leader. But somebody high, very well in the Mideast representative said it's treasonous. I think it was President Trump's envoy to the Mideast. I ain't going to go no further than that. So he said it was treasonous. So if it's treasonous, and then President Trump wrote an executive order saying that that person is no longer entitled to citizenship in the United States, and we're deporting him. And where else can we have here we got Iran here, and then Iran offering to take him and build a Guantanamo prison just like the one we have, over near Cuba there, to put them in. All right, so there it goes. I will convey to Trump that if he writes an executive order deporting all the leakers, I will build a Tehran prison for them, just like this Guantanamo here. That's for the second time around, giving it to you here. Okay, here's the Supreme Leader pointing to a picture of Guantanamo Bay. And this is it. He'd be very glad that he doesn't have to do any concern about doing deals with America anymore. America is hands off now. Everything's cool. America believes we don't have any more nuclear stuff, and everything is peaceful now. And if we want to do a few things underneath an Iranian bakery, somewhere down below an Iranian bakery, somewhere in Tehran, underneath the Tehran Iranian bakery, and do a few things down there, that's cool. That's cool. All right, folks. Thank you for watching my video. God bless you, and I'll see you next time. Bye.